Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. And by now it should be apparent that Battlefield 5 is a game that needs no introduction. If you know how to work a mouse and keyboard, you should be aware of the whole controversy surrounding this game. Today I want to talk about my feelings towards Battlefield 5 after playing it relentlessly when the beta was live, and also touch upon things that I think we as gamers can carry over into the future after coming away from this controversy, and we'll see how effective we can be depending on how well Battlefield 5 performs in sales and reception when it releases. Now, ever since this game was revealed back in May, I've been in this stasis phase. I didn't react in an overall negative way. I certainly wasn't buzzing like I was when Battlefield 1 got revealed. I was just very neutral, and after hearing from YouTubers who had previously attended a 3-hour conference the day before the reveal, and they all agreed that the reveal trailer did a huge injustice for what the game really had going for it. So I was willing to wait. Many people think that this reveal trailer was the straw that broke the camel's back, but really it's just the tip of the iceberg. After the reveal, all these biased articles got published calling the opposing side a bunch of sexist virgins, and then we had Patrick Soderlund call out the people who disagreed with the design choices, and then shortly just after that he left after the backlash. The pre-order numbers were insanely low. Then we hear a load of cool features in the game like vehicle customization, the new co-op mode, combined arms, and a mechanic that allows players to drag down teammates is not going to be available at launch. Then the beta finally arrives and I'm like, okay, finally, here's the time when the community can get free access to the game and understand that maybe the game might be worth buying. I mean, it's Battlefield for Christ's sake, alright? What's that? You can't type what in the chat now? So by now it's hard to not feel a hint of anger towards this game. It seems that every month we're just getting hit after hit with more bad news than actual good news. There's part of me that feels guilty for still wanting to buy this game after having tried the beta out. So overall I think the gunplay is top notch. Fortifications felt real gimmicky at first, but I think they actually have a very good significant function to the game, and the two maps were actually pretty enjoyable. I'll just quickly run down the negatives, so if you'll just bear with me. All the planes, with the exception of the BF-109, are just useless. The physics are just embarrassingly clunky, annoying bugs like switching weapons after you revive a teammate, and the dead ragdolls are just infuriating. The attrition system could be improved, the capture radiuses on many of the flags on Conquest needs to be reduced, and the upgrade system, in my opinion, needs to be completely scrapped. Like, if you want to make adjustments to the way your weapons and vehicles operate on the battlefield, shouldn't you just be able to customize it? Not have this very linear progression system of two ways that restricts player choice hugely? So overall I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. There's a lot of work to be done, but that moment-to-moment action is fantastic. But as much potential as Battlefield 5 has, its inescapable controversy over the marketing and the handling of the World War II setting is what's holding it back. And I know I'm like 3 months late on this, but I did want to wait and have first hands on the game before I actually said a word. And there are some important lessons to be learned here, so this could be interesting. This kind of reception during the marketing is a first for Battlefield. Usually when the new installment is right around the corner, the hype is unreal. I remember the lead up to Battlefield 1, it was just unbelievable. It was like the whole world was gathering to play this game, and the top comments on the trailers were always like something like along the lines of "RIP COD" or "Oh, all these dislikes are just people who turn their monitors upside down so they could like it again." But now on Battlefield 5 trailers, all I'm seeing is really a bunch of people saying, "Oh, I'd love to buy this game, but I'm uneducated, sorry." And one real big slap in the face to me was actually when I was playing the Battlefield 5 beta. Hardly anyone on my friends list tried it out. I know the Destiny 2 expansion came out on like the same day, but I had a discussion with many of them beforehand and many were curious to see how Battlefield 5 was going to play out. So I'm pretty confused. Now my whole take on this whole marketing controversy is that Battlefield 5 at this point is the new Infinite Warfare, the new punching bag for the gaming community. People are hoping and praying that this game fails miserably and feels ashamed of itself as it gets dominated by other AAA games releasing alongside it. And I get it, you know, I do think these people have a point. I've had a few back and forth conversations with DICE developers on Twitter before, and they've never struck me anything more than being really nice people who just want to make a great game, make the best entertainment they can. And you know, I don't think every single person who works at DICE and EA shares the same views on how they want this World War II game to be, but that's how gaming development works. This whole development is kind of just managed by a small group of people. The rest of them are just being told to do certain things. And I think they know they've messed up. That's why I think every trailer since the reveal has been admittedly better. They're also dialing back on the wacky customizations that players didn't like, and of course they have pushed the release date back to November 20th. But one thing I see a lot of DICE developers and popular community members doing on Twitter that isn't helping is constantly swinging back at the opposing side. I'm all for you standing up for what you believe in, but I mean 3 months later, I mean come on, it's like beating a dead horse. It's pointless, and I think it's only pushing the knife in deeper. I think that's kind of why the whole Angry Joe situation got all out of hand. At least that's the way I look at it. You know, when people come to my comments and leave negativity down there, my instinct isn't exactly to just swing back. I just let them stay there, without any gossip which I'm sure they were desperately seeking. And as for the controversy regarding the character customization for the game, around a year ago I made a video discussing the possibility of a character customization feature being implemented into the Battlefield franchise, and if you skip to 6 minutes 40 seconds I argued that the feature could break immersion, which is one of Battlefield's best assets. If you give players the freedom to create their look, then of course, a small minority of people will go to the lengths of creating the most alien look they can possibly make. And I think it's pretty clear why people don't like this whole inclusivity or diversity, whatever you want to call it. And I agree with what's been said, you know, it does feel like forced diversity. And I don't get why DICE showed the trailer off the way they did. I mean, if they want to show women on the battlefield, why couldn't she have just belonged to the French Resistance or the Soviet Union, where it somewhat made sense? To me, it kind of just came across as if they were asking for it. They were asking for backlash. I might sound crazy for saying this, but is it strange that I somewhat expected this to happen? I certainly didn't expect it the way DICE showcased that reveal trailer, not at all. But in 2018, if you're shocked by seeing women on the World War II battlefields, you've not kept your eyes open. In the movie industry, we've got classic movies like Ghostbusters, Ocean's 11 that have just been remade with an all-women cast, rather than just write an original script. Call of Duty World War II had Black Nazis, that makes no sense at all. Assassin's Creed Syndicate had that transgender character, if you remember. So by now, I'm just like, what's next? Like, an English lady with a bionic arm on the front lines of World War II, am I right? Seriously?
Hello, old friend.
Oh, right, okay. So, in all honesty, I'm just so far past all this stuff, I don't even care anymore. When it comes to video games, I don't want politics to get in the way of me having fun. Would I rather have a more realistic looking, grittier and darker version of World War II? Absolutely. But I guess it just wasn't meant to be for this one. My mate Dan actually said something to me that really hit home, and he said that Battlefield 5 will probably be the last World War II game made by a AAA developer that we'll see for a good while. Back in 2016 we were all screaming for a game to take us back, and now we've soon to have 2 Battlefields and we've had a Call of Duty, so by now we can expect many requests from the community to shift towards another setting by now. And even now the burning fire around EA and DICE just won't go out. We've got EA refusing to give in to Belgium's gambling laws over the use of loot boxes, and now they're under a criminal investigation for it. There's a lot of talk of a second Battlefield 5 beta to release around October time, which DICE have yet to comment on, and they are under a lot of pressure since the Blackout beta for Black Ops 4 has actually been met with more positivity than I've ever known COD to have in years. And I think a second beta, where they can clean up the planes, tweak the attrition system, and other things that the community have reported on, could restore some faith. Although, what I will also say is, do not add another map. I know many people don't like that idea, but for me personally, there's going to be 8 maps in the final product, and I personally wouldn't want to have nearly learned half of those maps before the game's actually launched. So to all those people who refuse to buy this game over its controversial handling and community management, I must say you're doing it good. When Patrick Sutherland came out and said, if you don't like it, don't buy it, he put you right on the spot. And these poor pre-order numbers coming out are you guys giving him a very clear answer on what you think. That's what we call speaking with your wallet. And with that, my hat's off to you. And I wish all communities from all games would be on their feet when they know something's up with their games, especially before they release. And I hope we can take notes from this Battlefield 5 situation and realise that it could be such a more effective tool to use for the future. It's very rare to see, like, especially before the game releases, where the developers are the ones looking up to the community and not the other way around. But at the same time though, and I hope both sides of the argument can agree with this, is that this day and age of gaming just sucks. Like, I actually stumbled upon my PS2 collection recently in my attic, and it just took me back, and even like the early games I had on Xbox 360, and it just makes me so sad that those days where you bought a game, and if you liked it, you played it, and if you didn't, you just moved on. Those days are well and truly gone. Sure, we got a lot less content back then, but back then that's what we were accustomed to. Now when games come out, all these people on social media and the mainstream media find ways to somehow connect their political views with a video game. I remember when Far Cry 5 came out and there was people like, oh, this is Ubisoft's interpretation of Trump's America. And it's like, what? This American cult state is nothing more than a simple design choice that no other game has really had a go at. And there's other video games that I'm really looking forward to playing, like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Cyberpunk 2077. You know full well that both of those games will get attacked by the media for including certain inappropriate features that people will feel uncomfortable with, despite it saying directly on the game's box what you're getting yourself into. And I hope you understand that these people aren't here for a change, they're just here to create controversy and spread misleading content. And the worst part of it all is just how divided it's made the actual gaming community as a whole. I mean, look at us in regards to Battlefield 5. Just two sides just going to war with one another. If I'm playing Battlefield 5 in 6 months, it's not because I support this kind of handling for a World War II game. I'll be playing it because it's fun, and fun is what I put first out of anything when it comes to video games. So I'll hand it over to you guys now. How do you feel about Battlefield 5 if you have played the beta? Is there still hope, or is this whole blowout just too much for you to put your money forward? You guys take care of yourselves, I'll see you all soon. See ya, bye.